Hey guys, what's going on? DSG here, another DSG TV, and I want to tackle a question that I get all the time. And actually, Lisa wrote in this question for last week, and she said, David, how do you make money from a web show or podcast? Because you've said before it's not a business, you've said different things. How do you make money from a web show or podcast? So I want to get into 3 different ways here in this video, and I as always want to hear your comments below. So if you're watching this and you're like, oh my god, got a thought on it, hop in below in the comments section. So first of all, I've said before that a web show or podcast isn't a business. And what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is very rarely is the show itself going to be what the business model is. It's normally something as a result of your show, and you use your show as a platform to help market and promote it. Does that make sense? So your show is not necessarily a business, but it's a platform. It's a credibility builder. It's I can't talk today. It's a subscriber builder. It's a fan builder. It's a traffic builder. It's everything. But you then have to think about monetization on different terms. So let's talk about the 3 things and the 3 ways that you can monetize pretty much any web show or podcast, okay? Pretty much anything. The first way to go about it is that you use the show and the podcast to leverage your own products and services that you're selling. Maybe it's freelancing. Maybe it's digital products. Maybe it's software. Maybe it's a physical product. Maybe it's, anything under the sun that you've created. You use your podcast to leverage that by promoting it on your podcast and bringing it up on your podcast and encouraging people to sign up for it. Any product, any service, it's one of the best ways, because here's why it's awesome: because you're in control. Do you know what I mean? You're in control of that. It's your customers, it's your product, it's your service. You're in complete control, and that's a positive when doing and having a mediapreneur business. So the first thing is your own products and services. Now the second thing is affiliates. So what I mean by that, very simply, right, is promoting other people's products and services and earning a commission on the sales. And what's important about this is not only can it be a great revenue generator, it can also be a great tester to see what your audience responds to. What price points, what topics, what key products and programs. I've used this as a research tool for 5+ years on my show, is figuring out, what do you guys want? What do you not want? And sometimes a great way to do that is through affiliate products. So it's not only a revenue generator, it's also a great tester, and it's also something you can do from day one. If you have nothing else and from day one, you can start experimenting with affiliates and build up momentum over time. I mean, I gotta tell you, I had some affiliates I don't even have anymore that were in 2008, 2009, somewhere in there, and I still get monthly income from them, and I haven't even promoted them since like 2008 or something like that. So it's funny how that works. Now, the third way, and I would say, honestly, caution with this way because it's the most difficult and it's the most challenging, is sponsorships. So sponsorships and advertisers, which is other people paying you to, promote them on your show, on your podcast, on your web show. So, okay, so I'm trying to think of the best way to explain this very clearly. So the problem or the challenge with sponsorships, and I've had sponsors, on my show for years. The challenge is that, number one, you do have to have a pretty large audience to have sponsorships and advertisers, to say the least. Because if you just have, 10,000 people or 5,000 people, there's just not, they need big numbers for it to be successful, just the way it is. That being said, if you had those same numbers and you were selling your own products and service, you could be a multimillionaire with those same numbers. So meaning like 10,000 people might sound like pennies to a sponsor, but if you have the right 10,000 people or even 500 people or 200 people, I'm not kidding, you could have a 6-figure or 7-figure business from that. So that's something to keep in mind, that sponsors are all about bigger numbers, bigger audience, etc. And, the bottom line is there's too many people, I think, out there that are trying to base the entire success on their show of getting really, really big and then praying to get sponsors. And it's just not that easy, right? Like, I'd be the first one to tell you if getting sponsorships was like the easiest thing in the history of the world. It's not. And the way that I recommend people, especially when you're getting going, especially as you start to gain momentum, is the long-term sustainability of your business is going to be in category, especially number 1, which is products and services. right? And things that you offer. And then also, yeah, number 2 as well, affiliates, which you can always be experimenting, always trying with. And yeah, if a sponsor comes along and it's something awesome and you want to go for that, great. But I wouldn't bank your monetization strategy on it. So those are my thoughts today. If you've got any questions about this at all, hop into the comments section. And if you haven't already, I want to encourage you guys. And I know you've heard about it before, but I want to mention it again, that there's never been a better time to start your own interview show, podcast, web show. And I really want to help. I've taken a lot of the knowledge that all the knowledge that I built up over the last years and put it into my #1 best-selling course, Create Awesome Interviews. That's going to teach you all of this from scratch, including monetization, including everything under the sun, hundreds and hundreds of graduates that are running successful shows and some that are rising superstars. It's really an exciting time. So if you haven't checked it out and you're excited about the possibility of doing your own show, or maybe you have a show but it's kind of struggling and it's been struggling for a while and you want to take it to the next level, I want you to check out, please, createawesomeinterviews.com, and you're invited to grab that program and hop on in. It's completely self-study. It's completely set up for you guys to have success with it, and that's at createawesomeinterviews.com, which I will link up, and I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you in the comments section.